adapt and improvise. Had to come up with a way of supporting multiple boats, different sizes for doing bottom paint type work, and came up with that concept where the V can be adjusted by the bottle jack. And fortunately this has been sitting for a couple of days, so I know it's pretty stable. This one's next, and this one's going to get a fuel pump kit and possibly some reed valves, but definitely a good cleaning. This was a complete success. We had it out and it runs pretty good. Got all the wiring done. This one's the next project on the list. We got some seats to put in there, but before we go too far I want to make sure the bottom is sealed up and painted pretty good. So that's the project for the day. Yeah, look at this thing. This is a barn find, and basically the interior is, well, there is absolutely no rot of any kind anywhere on this boat. And this is an early 1960s Duo brand boat, and not quite sure what its future brings. Kind of rearranged the shop a little bit for. But this has this goofy outdrive, which is one of the first Merc cruisers, and it has an aluminum Renault 4-cylinder engine driving that thing. So really not sure what the future brings for this boat, but it's interesting, you know what I'm saying? It kind of came my way, not through circumstances I particularly want to repeat, but here it is, and it's in too nice a shape just to throw away. So I figure we'll start with this one by just doing a good polish, you know, get the oxidation off the gel coat and just see what it comes back to color wise. I don't know what color it'll be. See if we can get it running. But today I got to put the second of 3 coats on the bottom of this boat, so that's what we're going to be doing. So we took this thing out the other day, and it ran pretty well for a while, and then it began to lose a little bit of power. I mean, it still ran, it just wasn't running quite as crisp as it was prior. You know, my first instinct was, it sounded like something got sucked into the intake or something like that, which we're going to test. Who knows, there might be a rat's nest in there. And I looked at this and realized that that's been open. Somewhere along the way, we were bouncing around the waves, the gas cap came off. And I can't tell you how much water went into that gas tank, but I suspect quite a bit. But two-stroke being a two-stroke, what I'm going to do right now is just go through the basics and make sure things are healthy and see how much of a problem I have with this motor, because it would make a good video if I got to tear it apart and rebuild it from scratch, wouldn't it? That's what I wanted to do with that one over there, but it turned out to be too good. And who knows, maybe this will be the one we put up on the channel. But to start the process, let me first do two things. Let's make sure we have compression. That gives you a sense of the health of the cylinder block and the internals of the motor. And then we're going to check the spark and make sure each one of the spark plugs is sparking properly. And it has a sound it makes. It sounded to me like reed valves, you know, as if the reed valves were having a little bit of an issue. If I go by motorcycle sounds, I don't know outboards like I do motorcycles, so it's a possibility. Or it just is the way the motor sounds. I don't know yet. But let's start out by doing a compression check. And you do that pretty much the same way with a outboard as you do anything else, you know. That's 120 on that one. I figure if I get to 120 in all of them, that's fine. And then see if they're roughly the same. Same amount on that one, 120. Same 120. Same number. So far so good. It's funny, I had a discussion with a young fellow who's kind of in the business and was having some issues with some Mercuries. He was saying, there's certain classes of Mercury would beat me, he said. And I'm like, well, a two-stroke is a two-stroke is a two-stroke. How do you check your primary compression? Same 120, so we got the same exact number now, 4 of 6. And he didn't really have an idea what that meant. He didn't understand the difference between primary and secondary compression. The difference is the pressure in the bottom end, which pushes the gas-air mixture to the cylinder. Same number. That's one more to go. If that one gives me the same numbers, I have in my mind, well, good news and bad news. The good news is I've got a healthy motor. And the bad news is I don't have a video potential of tearing apart one of these V6s, or this one in particular. I'll have to buy another V6 to tear apart. So one more. Moment of truth. Well, good news, bad news. Good news is it's the same exact number, 120. I'm going to do it one more time just to verify. And the bad news is I don't have something to tear into yet. We're getting there. We'll come up with something. I'll say 120. So we'll see if we have spark in all the cylinders. Because it felt like it dropped a cylinder. That's what it felt like. So we got spark on all 6 of those things. 2-to-1 mix. So the best way I can think of doing that is putting 3 cups of this and 1 cup of the hardener. And I have just about enough, I do believe. One thing I've learned the hard way is you can't use normal rollers on this stuff. You got to use a roller that can stand up to the epoxy nature of this stuff. And at this point, I better start rolling it like crazy, because that stuff will harden up faster than you think, faster than you want.